Ideological madness has dire consequences. Germans are emigrating from their country en masse. This is yet another European country that is becoming depopulated of its ethnic inhabitants. According to German media reports, nearly 300,000 people left for other countries last year. Berlin is the third most visited city in Europe, but only for a moment, because we are talking about tourism. However, the everyday quality of life in the German capital is not rated so highly. The crisis of security on the Spree River is a result of terrorist attacks, such as the one in Charlottenburg, when an Islamic terrorist murdered a Polish truck driver and then drove his truck into a crowd of people at a Christmas market. Even then, it was clear that migrants from Africa and the Middle East were not assimilating.
Nowi przybysze często
New arrivals, often poorly educated and from the lower social classes, simply refuse to accept the conditions that exist in Europe. Germany is paying the price for its 2014 open border policy, initiated by Donald Tusk's friend, Angela Merkel. What is happening? Obviously, the demographic structure is changing, but the German economy is also starting to run into trouble. Germany is on the brink of recession, and sometimes it falls into recession. A symbolic moment of economic turmoil is 2020, when for the first time in many years, the budget surplus disappears, and Germany records a deficit. Our wind industry is currently facing serious problems, German Minister Peter Altmaier told Clean Energy Wire during a wind industry summit organized by the Federal Ministry of Economy.
Im ucieka przemysł.
Their industry is fleeing. The industry is fleeing from them in panic. The energy transition is failing. Stories about saving the climate remain a pipe dream. Wind turbines instead of coal are unprofitable, and the cost of living for Germans is rising. Germany is an expensive country. You have to be wealthy to live comfortably. That is why towns like Löcknitz in the east of the country are becoming increasingly rare, and more often you can read reports like this one. Ronnie Sveda, after years of working in Berlin, moved with his family to Andalusia. As he explains, despite his extensive qualifications and running a company with 10 employees, working in the German capital did not provide him with a satisfactory standard of life. I had a company with 10 employees, but as the managing director, after paying the salaries, I had almost nothing left. What's more, Poland has been pushing its way into the global economy quite strongly in recent years. Competition in the Baltic Sea in the form of the container port in Świnoujście was extremely dangerous for German interests, and so the port construction project implemented by our previous government was rejected by the current government.
Problem polega na tym, że
The problem is that our economies are extremely similar. The German response to multiculturalism and the Green Deal is simple.
głosują nogami.
They vote with their feet and move to countries where this experiment is not yet being carried out with full force. What is frightening is that the current Polish government is forcing us to look uncritically towards Berlin, using blackmail over the war in Ukraine or leaving the European Union. I know how this mechanism works. Some people, especially those on the right, have never mentally joined the European Union. However, that's not the point, but a simple reflection. Considering the problems of the EU countries that lead the community does not mean repeating their mistakes. That's all. However, that's a lot. Because in recent years, the trend of emigration from one's own country, also as a result of dissatisfaction with the quality of life, can also be seen in Sweden. What's more, some Swedes have chosen Poland. For Swedes, Poland was a reminder of their own country in the 1970s and 1980s, especially in terms of personal safety. Over the past 7 years, nearly 500,000 citizens have left Sweden.